fuck, it's time for Jester Jesters goes viral.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I'll have one of your blue pills, please. A guy in the park told me that 9/11 and the Australian bushfires have angered the sky, and so it's dropped a virus on us. So I might stay in from now on. It's such an exciting time to be a conspiracy theorist. For those of you who don't know, your average conspiracy theorist is a character who can't cope with the concept of chaos. Everything has to be ordered, and that order has to be organised and controlled by humans, or the sky. For example, a virus can't have any power in itself. It needs a human to engineer it and to control it. It's a beautiful juxtaposition of closed-mindedness and fantastical open-mindedness that humans are capable of such incredible feats. In this post-truth world, nothing gets closer than Occam's razor. There's nothing wrong with a bit of healthy scrutiny, of course. This is Jester Jesters Goes Viral. Every week we will be screening audio-visual pieces submitted by anyone, as long as they're maximum about 5 minutes. You could say it's a platform for free speech. Free speech is a very important issue at the moment with many comedians. As far as I can tell, it's about encouraging universities to not foster such a level of critical thinking so that their stand-up goes better. And that is the most important thing. Oh, I found another grey hair today. It was in my urethra! Cereal. No, it was in my cereal. Here's a little video of a kitty cat. I hope you found that cute and uplifting. Unfortunately, I did have to euthanize it. Take no chances. Now, before we get onto this week's submissions, here's a little historical piece from me.
When's it set?
Shall we sing them a clue?
London's burning, London's burning, fetch the engines, fetch the engines, fetch the engines, fetch the engines,
fetch the engines, fetch the... Roll VT.
It's important.
No,
Please,
no.
please, we cannot just talk over each other.
All I'm saying is we must record everything for posterity.
Talking of posterity, this coffee tastes like it came from your
Oh,
arse.
very well, Mr. Peeps, but we cannot record everything.
I concur. We cannot record the arse-like taste of this coffee. Or indeed the very sound of our voices.
My point exactly. Future generations will have no way of knowing that these were our actual accents.
Pipe down, everyone. Not another peep.
Another one?
Peep, not peeps, Mr. Peeps.
Peep?
No more peeps.
I have every right to be here.
Please, everyone, right. Welcome to Question Time. This week we're in London, in Pasco Rosé's coffee house. Let's begin with the first burning question, the element in the room, if you will. What to do about this devastating fire that's ravaging our city?
It is a great fire.
It's terrible.
It's a terribly great fire.
Peep. One more peep out of you. Peep. Thank you.
Tear down the buildings in the path of the fire. That's what we need to
You're
do.
just as bad as the fire.
Make a break.
Give me a break.
I'm trying to.
We just need to extinguish the flames using the Cornhill water tower.
The water wheels at the bridge are toast. That tower is dry.
What's your idea, then?
I've told you my idea. What's yours?
Wait until it's blown over.
The rest of the city?
Well, I will say there is a break on the bridge, meaning it won't reach Southwark, and there are other breaks all over.
Exactly. We need more breaks.
Shall we take a break?
I'm the chair here. We're not having a break.
We need more
breaks.
The fire will die down on its own. And take care of any remaining plague.
True, true.
That justifies sacrificing the people and the good pigeons of this city?
I'm looking on the bright side.
It's fire. It's all bright sides.
That brings me on to another of our guests on this panel today. In the interests of balance, we have with us Fire. Thank you for joining us. Without a doubt, the hottest London resident right now.
I've seen hotter.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I must say, I find that language quite inflammatory.
Do I detect an accent? I could swear this fire is Dutch.
And French.
Yes, those sneaky bastards would do anything to win this war and invade our soil. We should be stringing up all the foreigners.
Burn them with the fire.
We really don't need to hear what you have to say, Fire. You've done enough damage as it is.
Now, this is a place where every point of view deserves a platform.
The platform's on fire.
It sure is. Actually, this fire is a breath of fresh air.
It's consuming the fresh air for its oxidation.
This is no time for science. This is actually exactly the time for science. It's the late 17th century.
You have such a way of putting things that just makes sense.
You're just fanning the flames. Things have certainly got heated, just how we like it. Thanks to all our guests, next week we'll be in Birmingham. This fire tastes like arson.
Now for this week's submissions. First up, Chris Timoney.
It's the lamb that makes a difference. That's what makes it a shepherd over... You're wrong. Hello. Welcome to Chris Timoney's storytelling, and today we're going to be talking about the chicken Kiev. Now, it's no secret that I love a chicken Kiev almost as much as I love a carbonara, but sometimes, just to treat myself, I like to make what I call a carbonara surprise, and that's essentially a carbonara with a chicken Kiev at the bottom as a little surprise treat to me. Surprise! Now, the thing about the chicken Kiev is it is a dish shrouded in mystery. No one really knows anything about it. In fact, if you were to go into a fine dining restaurant, go up to the head waiter and demand to know the history of the chicken Kiev, you'd be met with a mixture of stunned silence and confusion. It's because nobody knows anything about it. But today, we're going to fix that by telling a little story that I like to call the chicken Kiev. Our story takes place at the dawn of the 20th century in a little town outside of Ukraine where there lived a little boy called Peter Kiev. Now, Peter came from very humble beginnings. His mother was a baker and his father was a poultry farmer. And it wasn't long before they met at a local dance, got married and opened up a little shop. This shop was very famous for selling the very best of bread and the very best of chicken to everybody. And it wasn't long until there was the pitter-patter of Peter. Now, Peter wanted to get involved with the business from a very young age. In fact, he quickly took up the mantle of delivery boy and was the first boy in his village to own a bicycle. It was in the following weeks after Peter got his brand new bicycle that word travelled to the Kievs that an important magistrate was staying in the village at the city hall. News had also travelled that the magistrate was a massive fan of fine food and wine, and he had placed an order of the best chicken and bread that the Kievs had to offer. And it was with that they loaded up Peter's bicycle and sent him on his way. Now, unbeknownst to Peter, or anyone else for that matter, there was an incredibly serious, violent storm brewing. And given that Peter didn't know how to use his bicycle, or didn't really know where he was going, he didn't notice that the road he was on was riddled with potholes, incredibly steep and incredibly dangerous, to the point where he was speeding down the hill so fast he didn't know how to stop his brakes, ended up pulling the front brakes instead of the back brakes, and hit a pothole, boom, flinged over into the air, straight up, and slammed, bang, like a bag of dead birds into a tree. There was a blinding flash, and a deafening smell of garlic. When Peter came to, he found himself in a bed in a small, strange white room, filled with equally strange beeping noises. He looked down at one of his hands. It was gnarled, withered, liver-spotted, and covered in tubes and wires. Another smaller hand was holding on to it, a young porcelain hand, that when he looked up, was connected to a young, kind-faced nurse who had long, flowing obsidian locks like a raven's hair. As he looked at his other hand, it was similarly liver-spotted, aged. These were old man's hands. Holding onto this hand was another hand, an older hand. As he looked up, there was a kind, smiling face, one that he didn't recognize, but also felt very familiar. She looked at him. She closed her eyes and opened and said, "Peter, it's happened again." Confused, Peter looked around the room, only to find it filled with countless people, all wearing confused, concerned, and kind faces. There was 2 men standing by a window, talking. A woman came into the room, carrying a plate, and once again the room was filled with garlic. "What's happening?" Peter said. The 2 men looked away from the window and said, "There's been an incident. It won't be long now. We don't have much time." Peter looked at the plate and said, "What can I do?" At that point, everybody gathered round the bed, held hands, and put them on his chest and said, "Remember us. Remember us. Remember us." Suddenly Peter was back by the roadside, by the tree. He looked around, and as the smell of garlic dissipated, he tried to remember what was said and the faces, but he couldn't remember anything. He picked up his chicken, picked up his bread, picked up his bicycle, struggling to remember. Then 40 years later, someone took a chicken breast, butterflied it, stuffed it with garlic butter, and that's where we got the chicken Kiev.
Next, Holly Byrne and David Mills.
I'm bored. Life's so boring.
Why don't we go to dinner?
Could do.
What do you fancy?
I don't know. I mean, you see, I rarely eat. You choose. You're all about food.
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I?
I mean, you definitely were pre-diagnosis.
Japanese, then.
Bits of limp fish zooming round on a mini luggage carousel. No, thank you.
Okay, Korean.
I still have PTSD from the time that pepper beef bimbap came back up.
Chinese.
David, we'll all be eating Chinese soon enough.
How about Vietnamese?
Pho is my nom. Darling. Honestly. How about a little Indian?
Indian food, too much taste.
So you're looking for less taste?
Tasteless, ideally.
Modern British.
Oh, but one thing. I don't want to trigger you because I know you hate the environment, but I need a steadfast commitment from my eatery to sustainability. It's one of my signature issues.
Along with virtue signalling.
And befriending the friendless.
To be honest, I don't care where we eat, as long as they serve food on plates. Because you know what, the other day, I was served a full English and a cracked mirror.
I just don't want to order and collect at a counter and then eat somewhere else. It's like trying to have dinner at Argos.
What?
Argos. You've always hated the common man, which is ironic. Oh, and speaking of which, ex-cons.
Please, I want my waiters to be re-entering the workforce fresh out of prison. Just one cold soup away from peddling the big issue.
The fear of jail time. That's why the customer service is so dynamite in Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely.
So I think that's narrowed down then. Simple restaurant, modern British, sustainable, absolutely no unconventional plating options. We want a workforce from the absolute margins of society and...
Got me something.
Nothing. There is a giraffe at Heathrow.
Perfect.
It's only an hour and a half away.
Let's do it.
Terminal 2.
The Queen's Terminal.
Should we take the segways?
Or the megabus.
Let's take the segways on the megabus. Segway back.
World food, here we come.
You only live once.
Nachos, tacos, pasta.
Great.
Next, Standfast.
Nick had 3 monitors on his desk because he was ultra important. Only one's plugged in, mate.
Next, Patrick Hearn.
You there, boy? What day is it? Of course. Days don't really matter anymore, do they? Tell me, does Iceland still have the 36-pack of toilet roll in the window? It does. I want you to run along there and buy it. 10, 20, 30, 50. I don't think he's coming back.
Next, Aimee Cooper.
Hiya, you alright, cock? It's Auntie Maureen here. How are you doing, love? How's your belly for spots? Oh, what's going on in the world? My head has gone west with all of it, but I am buzzing to be here. Okay, now pop that kettle on, pull up a pew because I've got some stuff to tell you. Oh my God. Listen, I've gone for a very natural beauty look today. I have been doing a beauty course, but what with Corona's coming in, looks like that's all kiboshed. I've been doing cosmetic tattooing, okay? That is permanent makeup. What is the point of layering it on, trolling it off, scraping it off? Just pop it on and it stays on, okay? That's my beauty philosophy. I've gone for a very, very natural nude palette. Barely there is what you call it. Now, as this crisis ramps up, I'll be using more dramatic hues. Okay. Now, I've just ordered the Kensington static couch with adjustable back and removable face hole. Okay. That looks like it was a complete waste of time and investment under current circumstance situationals. Our Dave almost coughed up a lung this afternoon, but that didn't stop him getting right on with me. I said to him, "What's up with you, buggerlugs? Oh my God, you look like you lost a quid and found a turd." Because I'm on first name terms with DPD driver at a safe distance, and he delivered all of my Amazon goodies. And Dave said to me, "What you doing? Give your head a wobble, Maureen." I said, "Oh my God, what we doing?" So our Leanne's had a bust up with her mic. She's been on phone effing and jeffing. I said, "Oh my God, Leanne, give your head a wobble." It all kicked off last night. You know, the faucet in, all kicked off. It all went A-wires, chairs flying and everything. Well, she's just talking broken biscuits. I said, "Stop striking, Leanne. Just tell me what's going on." So Leanne's our youngest and she's a typical Gemini, okay? Confident yet insecure. And between you, me and the gatepost, I don't think Mike's good enough for her. Okay, I think he's a bit of a quilt. All right. So how are you doing? Are you all right? You look amazing. You look great. I love your brows. Who did those? Don't tell me it were Brenda's brows on Recton Road because don't, because I've had a big falling out with her. She could mither a nest of rats, that one. Don't get me started on her. No, she's trouble. I said, "You know what you need, don't you? A doll and a drum and a kick up the bum." Oh my God, now wind your neck in. Right, okay, I'm off now. I'm going to go and chance it down at the Chippy. And then I'm doing a virtuoso meet-up with Bev, Kaz, Liz, Maz, Vic, Kaylee, Sally, Kelly, Gobshite Mandy, and our Hayley. All right, so we'll see how that goes because I think it's going to be dead glitchy. So I do hope you spoke to your nearest and dearest this weekend, whether it was over Virtuoso or Messenger Rendezvous or Zoom box or whatever mode of transportation, virtual communication you're using, okay? Because we need to pull together at these times. And remember, mothers are like buttons, they pull everything together. But sometimes if you put them on a high temperature, they do just split and they will just unravel and fall apart. Okay, so think on. All right, I'm off now. So lovely to see you. Godspeed. Ta-ra, cock. Bye.
Next, Sadie Gibson.
Hey, Bill.
Yep.
You want to watch a documentary about deep sea creatures?
I don't know. How deep we talking?
How deep?
Yeah, like 1,000, 2,000 meters.
Oh, like 5 6,000 meters?
Oof, no. That is far too deep for me.
Next, Declan Kennedy.
Hello, I'm Declan Kennedy. I was taken hostage on March 19th, 2020, and I've been allowed to record this statement on behalf of my captors so they can issue their demands. They're also just briefly allowing me to let you know that I'm fine. I mean, I'm not getting more than my basic needs met. Toilet roll, hand sanitizer. I'm only allowed out for 1 hour a day. Can't wait to get back to England and enjoy my freedom to its fullest. Maybe go to a pub, taking a show in London's bustling West End, go to the park for a game of five-a-side, or a party, or a really long conga. Maybe do a lot of high-fiving or hugging. Enjoy the sound of human laughter on Have I Got News for You? You know, all the things I can't enjoy as a hostage. Anyway, I have a statement to read, so let's get on with this as they're on a metered data connection. So I don't have long. Difficult to read it. I'm making this statement on behalf of the Purple Vibration Army. You lot hippies. Alternative medicine. It's really difficult to read. You can afford this, but not a spell check. Okay. Stroppy. Here are our demands. Here are our demands. 1. We, the People's Liberation Army, want an immediate amnesty for all prisoners conscious. Not just the conscious ones. What about the ones who are asleep? Of conscience, yeah, I see. Prisoners of conscience. Okay. Demand number 2, leave Brittany alone! Number 3, a rant holiday for all renters in the UK. What, people in Speaker's Corner? Oh, rent. A rent holiday. 4, immediate reparation for all UK workers unable to meet their mortgage needs or monthly outgoings, especially frontline health workers, delivery staff, and Royal Mule. Some kind of postal donkey? Yeah, Royal Mail. I know it is. It was a joke. If our demands are not met, we will release a deadly virus to which all age ranges are vulnerable. Guys, I think that ship might have sailed. Actually kept a bit longer. Maybe give me the password for Netflix? Yeah? Okay. Thank you.
Next, Callum Marullo.
Hello, England! Coming at you live here from New York. Got some coronavirus-related material here because that's, all anyone seems to be talking about. So, I'm gonna do it now. If you can't tell, you got my neighbors in the background. You can see clearly into their windows. So I figure if you don't like the jokes, you can just take a look at what they're doing, because that's what I've been spending my time with. They don't speak English. Alright, now, on to the jokes. Pennsylvania governor has reconsidered liquor store closures. His reason being, I forgot what it was like to spend this much time with my family. That's that one. Well, Illinois' another governor, says people ignoring coronavirus warnings are spitting in the face of healthcare workers by breaking the first rule of quarantine, spitting in people's faces. Yep, that's correct. Ohio orders abortion clinics to stop all non-essential abortions, which is a shame, really, for all those gals who like to dress up on a Friday night and have a little well-earned fun by getting an abortion. Anyways, infant dies from coronavirus in Chicago. The infant reportedly caught the virus through licking stripper poles. Yep. Donald Trump, he says he could see recommending all Americans wear masks. I say, just the ugly ones. Belarus president dismisses the coronavirus risk and encourages his citizens to drink vodka and visit saunas in what is being described as an incredibly irresponsible move. This just in, the cure for coronavirus, vodka and saunas. Trump says he doesn't know if China underreported coronavirus numbers, claiming, in his own words, "I'm not an accountant from China. I'm a chicken farmer from Botswana." Many video calls have recently been hacked, with racial slurs and pornography showing up on people's screens. Well, either they've been hacked or Granddad forgot to close a few tabs. In unrelated technological news, there's no need to fear for people listening in on your conversations anymore, as the new iPad Pro disables mics when its case is closed. It will, however, film you while you're in the shower. Hungary's leader, the country Hungary, not the feeling, that leader, Hungary's, has given himself sweeping powers under a new coronavirus bill. For example, he can now fly like a bird. In science news, astronauts, speaking from their own experience, give some helpful tips on keeping from being bored in isolation. Their number one tip: be in outer space. It's probably pretty fun in outer space. NASA has recently tested a giant 21-foot mirror in their James Webb telescope. After looking into the mirror, they reported back, "Yep, we definitely look like nerds." In celebrity news, in this harrowing time, I think Justin Bieber and Tom Holland are the BFFs we absolutely need in our lives right now. Not. Harvey Weinstein has been put in isolation after contracting the virus. Weinstein says he's not sure, but he probably contracted the virus from his cellmate after Weinstein was violently raped by him. And finally, last one, because of coronavirus concerns, San Francisco has banned the use of reusable plastic bags. Now what will the homeless use for condoms? Well, that's it.
And finally, Paul Thomas Burke.
Hello from Ireland. I flew here just before the dramatic upswing of cases in the UK, and now because of travel restrictions and a lockdown, I'm stuck here. I'm essentially a biological refugee, hence the shell suit. I'm at my mum's place. I was only supposed to be here for a couple of days for a quick visit to say hello to her and her new cats. Animals which I like as much as I am allergic to. We've been suggesting she get some for a while, as they would be good company and relaxing. They just also happen to be animals that cause my chest to tighten, induce bouts of coughing and breathlessness, which bring with that the fear that the pandemic raging at the front door has slipped into the house and is now wearing my shell suit. So, not so relaxing for me. That said, they are ridiculously cute and adorable. Though I have no doubt that all cats simply view humans as the warmest thing to sit on until the day the whiskers runs out and we are finally on the menu. I, like all of you, am adjusting to the New World Order. It was once often repeated in political and economic commentary that when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. But that would have been back in the good old days of the First Cold War, before the shit broke the fan. The gaps are appearing in TV schedules, much like a photograph of someone smiling with missing teeth. It's the empty space that you see. Sport has gone, which is understandable, considering that there's only now one game in town, and that's the Johns Hopkins World League of Hand Washing. South Korea are clearly leading with a national programme that's the envy of the world, though North Korea hasn't yet reported a single case. So they've clearly got at least one very special bar of soap to go round. South Korea is closely followed by Germany, which is the standout nation in Europe. The response there seems to be a robust health service combined with an elderly generation that has an experience of washing their hands with regards to world events. If Ricky Gervais steals that joke, you heard it here first. He's welcome to it. Other than that, I've been informed that EastEnders is coming to a close, which is amazing. So no matter how bad it gets, we're coming out winning. Another positive is that all the clairvoyants and astrologers out there have had their powers proven because they all invested in face mask and bog roll. So that's nice, well done you. I always thought you were just a bunch of cunts, but it turns out you already knew that. On the subject of toilet paper, there was a similar rush here to bulk buying, which was nonsensical. You can all relax. There is plenty to go round and there's no need to worry. As long as you have 5 days worth when the food runs out, you're good. In the UK, I don't watch a lot of TV or use social media beyond scoring an open mic fix. So the past couple of weeks has been an education for me as my mum gets part of her daily news feed from Facebook. So I'm suddenly getting an insight into the world of batshit bullshit that is. This morning she showed me a post claiming 4,000 people had been healed by a group in Italy. As I explained to her, technically that could only be cobblers. Besides that, I'm watching the actual news and wondering, how can it be possible that if Donald Trump didn't have a tongue, he would still be less dumb? It might just be me. It might just be me, but it appears as though the creases in his face are getting darker. Check it out the next time he does a briefing. He looks like a Sainsbury's bag that's been used to pick up a wet lump of dog shit that someone has then inverted and tied over the head of a chimpanzee that can't breathe and is now dying in there. It's either that or the lighting.
That's it. Thanks to all our contributors. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself. At our live Flesh Space show, this is the point where we'd normally be asking the audience if they wanted to donate towards the night, but of course, in these circumstances, that's a very low priority for anyone. But if there was a lunatic out there who did feel like donating, then they could head over to jesterjesters.com, and anything we get, we'll split that pound with all our contributors. Please join us again next week when it will be hosted by none other than Chris Timoney.